And welcome back, everybody, to the Fifth Line Podcast. We've got Nick, we've got Eric, we've got Ben, and we've got me on this happiest of Valentine's days. Happy Valentine's Day,
Full
gentlemen.
squad, boys. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it's been a great day.
Oh, Nick, you're fine.
Nick's heated. We're going to start off with some Super Bowl action because this is the first episode since the Super Bowl happened. And what happened was a little expected, a little not. I actually wanted to talk to Nick a lot about this one because you know the most about football, and what I'm going to say is watching the game, like partway through the second quarter, I was like, there's been a lot of Chiefs flags and 0 Tampa Bay flags. And I was like, this doesn't look good. That was a
very common notice thing about that game was everybody was like, oh, the Chiefs have the refs in their pocket. But sure, I remember one specific play that was a questionable flag. But a lot of them, they're legitimate calls.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a regular season game, they're going to get called every single time. And the commentators throughout that game were even saying that the Chiefs defense was playing very aggressive and, overly aggressive at some points. It all gives me deja vu to watching Saints games because they do the same shit and get flagged for it all the time.
Yeah.
So I was pretty shocked by that game, to be honest. I fully expected the Bucs to win it. I didn't think that the Chiefs weren't going to score a touchdown.
Not a single one.
They looked like shit. They looked like shit in my opinion, but
that was why I wanted to talk to you, because you've watched the most football, and I was like, he will know if the calls were weak or soft.
And there's in every sports, there's always calls that could go one way or the other.
Yeah.
And you're playing in the biggest game of the year. Do you let some of that stuff go? You would think they would have, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're not wrong to make those calls either. So
it's similar. Yeah, it's similar to the NHL playoffs. A lot of the stuff gets let go, and then sometimes they call stuff, and then people piss and moan about the stuff that gets called.
I mean, there was probably 4 pass interference or pass interference type penalties.
There's a lot of holding.
I remember one offsides penalty was a 4th and 5.
Ooh.
And the Bucs were kicking it because it was 4th down. And one of the Chiefs guys was lined up offsides, and you could clearly tell even watching from the TV that he was offsides. But those plays, they don't make those calls until it's after. You have until the ball snaps to correct yourself. If you don't notice it, then you're going to get called for it.
Yeah, you can't not call that.
So everybody's like, oh, well, when I saw it, I was like, well, why didn't they blow him offsides right there? And I talked to Trevor at work, and he's like, oh, they don't do it. And I forgot about that. So I was like, well, that's one penalty plus all the other. And right before that half too, if you guys all watched it, there was a lot of rough, there was a couple penalties right at the half where there were unnecessary rough or unnecessary roughness.
Roughness is what they call it, eh? Yeah. Well, and that one flag, the one penalty gave the Bucs a first down. And then they scored a touchdown later in that drive. So it was
so they would have won. They would either
costly.
Had 3 points off a field goal. Instead, they had 7 because they converted. But, the Chiefs were pretty they lost both of their starting guards. So they weren't really able to protect Mahomes as good as they typically would have. But that's not really an excuse at this point in the season. You've played good up until this point. You should have guys on your bench ready to go. Yeah, they might not be as good. But this guy, Mahomes looked like he was running for his life.
Oh, he was. He
snaps the ball, and he was taking off every single play because he was about to get leveled. Trevor and I talked at work. The two linemen for the Bucs were after him all night long. Mm-hmm. They have a bunch of linebackers too that were just going after him. And I was like, hey, he didn't have a snap that he was just able to sit there in the pocket, look around, and not get hammered on. So.
And related to that, as somebody who knows nothing about football and was just watching, the Super Bowl is basically the only football game I ever watch every year. But as somebody who doesn't watch football, the fact that even I was noticing that the Chiefs couldn't catch shit.
Oh my God!
Like, because like Mahomes is like getting tackled, he's like throwing perfect spirals while like falling over, and
Dude,
these
yeah.
motherfuckers are just like they're looking like me trying to catch a ball or trying to fucking hit the fucking thing down in can jam and just whiffing completely. Like it's just going through their
Getting in the
hands,
nuts.
hit their face.
Yep.
Like
I was
I'm
just
like,
gonna say that.
dude, this guy is going the hell off, and even when I can notice that, it's bad. It's bad.
So there was 3 plays specifically that were 3 bad drops. So one of them, I don't know if you can call it a drop anyway. It was at the beginning where Tyreek Hill went up the end zone and did some like twisting attempt to catch it, went through his hands, hit him in the face mask. So if it's that close, he should have caught it.
Oh yeah.
There was one where Kelsey got like threw it straight at his hands and he dropped it. And then the one that you're talking about, Ben, when he was literally like falling over, he
Yeah.
like a suffering
Dude, what?
grab.
Yeah,
The guy
the throw was
jumped up for it,
insane.
straight in the helmet, like right in
Yeah.
the face mask. I'm like, what do you like?
Dude, and they have the cheaty friggin' sticky gloves. Like, come
I
on.
know.
You can't catch that with
Those
his
things are
cheatsy
like
gloves.
blue.
You know
They
what else
are.
was impressive about that? The other than the cheatsy gloves, the fact that throw was in between like 4 Bucks defenders or
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that too, and it still hits the guy right in the helmet.
I saw a TikTok from the NFL's account on there where it was literally just sidelines of all the Bucks players just going nuts about all of Mahomes' throws, and like they show the like falling over sideways, and like one of the Bucks guys is like, he's a wizard, I swear. Like, and I'm like,
Well, that's the one, or not the one thing, but one of the big things that you can take from that game is that was not Mahomes' fault.
I was saying, I don't think Mahomes was the issue. No, I think he'll be okay.
He's still gonna
Like
be
he didn't play.
insane.
Like he didn't play
wasn't.
great either. Like he played.
Yeah.
He has all these standout plays. He didn't play like his greatest game, but his cast around him clearly did not play well either.
Well,
Like,
from what you were saying, he apparently didn't get much blocking help either. So,
No
like,
blocking
no,
help.
he
how much can you do then?
Three perfect passes just
Nah,
dropped.
so like they never established a ground running game either, where the Bucks did. Like the Chiefs could not stop the Bucks running backs. It's like they gave it to Fournette and he just ran him over every single time. So like I'm sitting there after the game thinking, okay, I don't really remember Brady really airing it out and making a lot of like these crazy passing plays because they ran it all the time. They just ran it down their throats. He made the plays when he needed to, but he didn't
selfish.
it wasn't an overly pass heavy game for the Bucks. It was like an only passing game for the Chiefs. So,
Chiefs, yeah. Yep.
It was
It was a fun game to watch. I'm glad Champa Bay. We just need we need the Lightning to win it again, and then we need the Rays to
So greedy.
to do it
Lightning
again.
again? Come on.
Yeah.
Back to back.
Come on.
I mean, yeah, same. Like, but still.
Yeah.
Let one of us have it, damn it.
yeah.
No.
Nick,
Nick's
what?
like, yeah.
Nick, what?
Nick, I would like Ottawa to win it. I'll give you that.
Maybe in
Go
2
on.
years. I don't think you might be right. It might be 2 years.
I think it's more like three
Not gonna be
or
what the team
four.
they have now.
We'll see.
I
We'll
think
see.
it's more like 3 or 4.
Speaking
but
of
yeah.
that, they're changing. They're making some changes to their team, actually. So they go with a trade with the Canes. They receive their old boy Ryan DeZingle. DeZingle's coming home, Nick. And the Canes are getting Seti Paquette, who has been there for, I guess, however many games he's played this season, because he went there after the
Not
season.
very many.
Yep.
He hasn't been there very long.
He didn't do too much. But, and then Alex Galchenyuk adds his 6th team to his resume.
Yeah,
Which,
I was
in his defense-
wrong about him, I guess. I
They never
really
played
thought
him.
he was. I thought he was going to be something.
Yeah, they did wait until a little bit later into the season to play him, and he actually did score in his debut. But I think that was it.
No, I just mean overall. I didn't mean this year, Nick. I know,
Okay.
like, he didn't get that many games. Like, I just, like, overall, I don't know. I guess that 130-goal year just made me think really highly of him. He just hasn't seemed to be able to
30
put it
goals.
together. It was a good
30
year,
goals is a lot.
and then it's a lot. And then literally since then, Like he hasn't done a thing. It's so bad. Like I don't know.
I was hoping somebody would notice that.
What?
The 2-liter bottle just casually pulls it.
Canada Dry.
And he actually they've already put Galchenyuk on waivers today.
Jesus,
Already?
really?
Oh, they
Yeah,
did.
Yeah, they did. They put him on
Wow.
waivers. I imagine.
Oh
'cause
no.
I don't think anybody's gonna take him. So I
So-
imagine
Probably not.
in the trade they were getting him to be basically a taxi squad guy,
Mhm.
just to be a body. Because like I don't see anybody taking him off waivers.
So
I
the thing
mean,
about this trade that like
yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it. Like, yeah, Dzingle's not going to be any. He's got to be better than what they've been doing because what they've been doing is pretty non-existent on offense.
I think Dzingel will be more useful for you than both the two forwards.
But the thing about him is that he is a free agent at the end of the season. I don't remember if it's restricted or unrestricted, but they could potentially only be having him for 1 year. I
think it would be
believe.
unrestricted by now. He's been around for a bit.
Yeah.
But I might be
So
wrong.
I think he is too. So he could be just a one coming in for the rest of the season and then sending him back somewhere else. I don't really know what the goal is here. Maybe they'll re-sign him.
Yeah, I don't really know. That's because it seems like a nothing for nothing trade, kind of.
I don't really know what the goal is here. I feel like that's just the last 3 or 4 years of the Ottawa Senators. That's just what they've been. What is the goal here?
I think the writing was on the wall when Josh Norris started the season, first game of the season, and Galchenyuk got benched first game of the season. I'm like, what is going on here? You just paid the guy $1 million to play here.
Like,
You're not going to play him?
Yeah, I'm gonna play him. Yeah.
It's I don't know.
There's a weird situation up there.
I want Ottawa to be better because it's more fun when they are good at the same time the Habs are good. It's the same reason why I like that Toronto's better. Like, it makes the whole thing more interesting because for like years and years, I got Toronto and Montreal shoved down my throat as like, oh yeah, it's a rivalry. I'm like, they suck ass. They're whatever. But like the Sens I don't think they're ever going to get better until Eugene Melnyk isn't there.
Is out.
I mean, he could surprise me, but
Ryan Dzingel is a UFA at the end of this year, so
Mm.
you were correct.
I mean, I think having Ryan Dzingel is better than having Cedric Paquette and an Alex Galchenyuk you didn't use. Like, I think Ryan Dzingel will be a more useful forward than Cedric Paquette.
I think so.
I don't know. You know more about Paquette than I do.
I mean, he probably did what he does, because what he does is not score.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's not
That's
a
what they
scorer.
need.
He was
They don't
was
have-
the fourth
They're
liner.
very low. Like, yeah, the young guys are good. Stützle's good.
They
Kachuk's
don't
good.
have any scoring otherwise, though.
Yeah, and they have those two guys to score, and that's pretty much it. Like, they're not getting a lot of help
One
from
of
anyone
them-
else.
Yeah, one of
Which-
them's 18.
Dzingel, the last time he was in Ottawa, proved that if you give him a guy or two that's decent to play with, he can maybe score a few. So maybe that's the play, like stick him with Brady or something. Like, I think Dzingel is a much more useful player than either of the
It's
two.
going to be a while till we see him, though, because it's,
Yeah,
is it, 2 weeks?
It's 14 days, yeah.
Is it 14
So
days
it's-
still?
Yeah, it's 14 days. And then that's why Galchenyuk is staying actually in Canada for an extra day right now, because if somebody in the Canadian division grabs him off waivers, they didn't want to avoid the whole
Quarantining.
so he won't be leaving Canada till noon tomorrow. But
If he
Makes
does.
sense. Makes sense. If he
yeah,
does,
if he
yeah,
does,
he will.
if he does, I don't think he's gonna leave because their AHL team is in Belleville, so he'll stay in Canada because I don't.
You don't think he's
anybody's
gonna at least be on the taxi squad?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, sorry. Yep, you're right. I'm dumb.
Noob.
Yep.
You even said he's a taxi squad guy.
I did say that. Yep.
Oh, I want to just bring something up. It doesn't pertain to the Senators. So I saw something online. I think it was on Twitter. It was a tweet that Leon Draisaitl had, and it was talking about I guess the premise of the tweet was, okay, we've beaten the Canadians, we've beaten the Maple Leafs, but we're not considered to be 1, 2, 3 or top in the league. They're like,
Yeah.
you're in the same book as the Senators because they've done the same thing.
Essentially, he was getting heated because like the Oilers have been hit or miss so far, and then like, so he was like, "Oh, what? We're so bad. We've beaten 1 and 2. Like, we're great, but like, also, yeah, the Sens have also beaten both 1 and 2, and because hockey's fucking like,
hockey's
hockey. Like, any team has a decent chance of winning each night because there's just so much shit that is just like."
So many things that can happen.
Bounces off a ref and goes like right to a guy, and from net side, like weird shit happens. Especially more than most sports, I feel like, because like in basketball, if you just got a bunch of good shooters, chances in a night you're gonna average out to win the game. But like, there's just like, if you get one hot goalie in hockey, you're gonna overperform. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, even look at how the Senators played the.
It was a flawed
Jets
argument
last night.
from Draisaitl.
Yeah, like the Senators played the Jets last night. It was 1-1 until the last 30 seconds of the game. So
yeah,
I didn't see the goal. I just got the update on my phone.
Champa that got the
Chuck
final
scored
one.
it, yeah.
He just
But
pounced on a shot.
they also were playing
like
Matt Murray last
8
night.
seconds left. Oh, it was Hoberg?
Yeah.
Hogeberg.
Is that his first win of the season?
Yeah, that's
Hey,
win.
Congrats! Shout out to
What
him.
year they
He's
at?
got 33% of the wins right now.
Yeah.
Yep. And Murray's got the other 66. Oh, dude, I had something in my mind I was gonna say. Oh yeah, I think the whole like the random bounces and things that can happen in hockey, you see that also with soccer. I think the harder it is to score in a sport, the more difficult it is to tell what's going to happen.
And
like
soccer,
basketball,
you'll get like 2-1, 1-0, 0-0
yeah.
games all the time. So like,
Which like
that's even more so. Like if you get a bounce here or there, then yeah, it could be everything.
which blows it. Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
No, I was just agreeing with you guys. It's I'm thinking like soccer from back in high school. Like you can ring a ball off the crossbar and it either can bounce down and in, or smoke it and come straight back at you. You don't really know.
Right back at your
Kind of
face.
like it's kind of like in hockey. If you nail a crossbar in hockey, it could either go in or it's
Or it could just shoot back up the ice, and then the other team gets a 3-on-2 maybe.
Yep.
It's just there's so much up in the air compared to a lot of other sports. It's
Yeah, it's definitely definitely one of the more random ones. Definitely hard to tell what's going to happen night in, night out in most cases. So fantasy boys. The landscape has changed. I will tell you that. Ben, not for Ben. Ben's still in the bottom.
I'm still in the bottom, but I have a little bit to say because like I'm within range of
Let's
two
hear it.
people now.
He's in range.
I'm within range of both my sports editor at work, Joey,
And Danielle.
and Danielle. I am only 40-ish points back from Danielle. A little farther from your mom. I'm about 240 points back from your mom. But my goal for the rest of the year is 4th place.
Okay.
My goal is to catch your mom. Because I'm being realistic. There's no fucking way in hell I'm getting to 1st at this point. It's not gonna happen. I am at 1,174 points. Your dad is at 1,600. It's
Ben, if your goal is to catch his mom though, like Mike's only 40 points ahead.
I'm not that
Sonia,
much farther ahead.
That's true. Things could happen.
Like,
I'm just
the
keeping my
lead
goals
blank-
low right now. I'm keeping my goals
surprised
low.
it's happened the way it has, to be honest. Like I did not see your dad just like snuck up on both
It was
of us.
1 week. It was 1 week,
Yeah.
and he's up in first by quite a bit.
If
now.
you've noticed by
Well,
my
only 40
moves,
points,
I
that's not
have
much.
23 on the season now. I have adopted I'm trying to pick up whoever's hot
Jeez.
mode of playing this game.
He passed
See,
me.
To try to get myself back into it.
It's so weird how you play because like Mike has 16, and he's been like we've all been
I was up there for a little bit.
me
Now
and your
I'm
dad have been 1, 2, 3 the whole
behind.
time. His dad has one move. Ben's got 22.
See, Nick, the difference is Mike made good moves.
Oh.
And you made bad moves.
No, Ben
We
made
know.
good moves for me.
Hey, Sonia, if you're listening, I really want to trade you Sidney Crosby. So let's talk.
So let's
Listen,
talk.
But yeah,
This-
I'm 425 points back from the lead. I'm not. I don't think I'm catching
a-
lead.
a like behind the scenes problem and why I have slipped back so much is because I've had like 3 people get their games postponed and I've had like 3 people get hurt. So
Now that's
Yeah,
funny.
I was just looking at your goalies. You have a goalie down right now, and you have one out, right?
I've got I think I just have 1 goalie postponed, but I had and it was listen, 2 weeks. I've been without 1 player for 2 weeks. Can you guess which player that is? It's important.
Is it an Avs player?
Yes.
Is it McKinnon? Is it
Yes.
Mac?
I
Okay,
haven't
yeah,
had
figured
Nathan McKinnon for
Yeah.
2 weeks.
That's not
And then
good.
and then guess what? He comes back, does nothing for me tonight, and you know who's hurt now? Cale Makar, my best defenseman. Like
no.
I can't catch
Now-
break.
I will say I'm still in 7th place, so this means very little. But for the first time in forever, I'm actually within reach of people. And it's because I have 7 players that are members of the Canadian division that has not seen a single postponement or cancellation yet. So like that has definitely helped me kind of like at least be back in the picture of like maybe overtaking some people.
That does help.
But yeah, no,
get my-
and I will say the first game I had Carey Price after you dropped him, he got me 15.5 points.
Wait a second.
No,
Wait
that's
a
not bad.
second. What?
He dropped Carey.
I dropped Carey. Listen,
He
look
had
at-
like an 890 save percentage for like the
Carey
beginning of the
Price
season.
has
It was
been
not
shite
good.
for me. He hasn't done
But-
jack shite.
We'll get to it after. He looked really
Ass.
I wish
good. On
I wish
Saturday.
I
He looked
paid attention.
fantastic.
I really wish I paid attention to transactions more because I would have picked him up.
Well, if you
I-
played
I
if you
have
played
to
video
think-
games with us, Nick, you would have heard that he had dropped him.
Benjamin,
Ooh.
I haven't turned my I have not turned
Benjamin.
my Xbox on since Christmas.
Dude,
I know,
call,
just being
dude,
an ass.
It has
Call
not
him.
turned on. since
I'm
Christmas.
just being an ass. I know.
call him Benjamin again.
Yes, I know you guys got me the external hard drive. I still am yet to do anything with that.
You
Ooh.
motherfucker.
I've not turned it on.
You
I should have did it today.
mother
I laid on
licker.
the couch and slept after I woke up.
After he watched TikTok.
I got up from bed, had
By the
some
way-
brunch, Chinese food, and then took a nap on the couch.
Nice.
By the way,
nice.
keep an eye out on TikTok for the 5th line. Next episode we'll have a
Probably
is it
got
a
link
handle?
in the description.
Is it a
Yeah, some
handle
kind
of
I
some
am not-
kind?
Yeah, I guess that's what it's called.
We'll have a link
Yeah.
to the 5th line TikTok and
We're making an
and this
account.
and yes. I will not be in charge of that, so that's going to be
gonna be
these,
me and Nick's-
these
me
other
and
2
Nick's
guys,
baby.
the TikTok boys. Me and Nick's baby. Oh dear. Imagine what
CC.
there's CC.
Let's go.
Imagine a child of Nick and Ben's.
They'd
The
have a
head
big
the
fucking
head on that bastard.
The head on that kid.
That would be one big head.
Fuck you.
Wait,
Hey,
who's in possession
Most
of
of
the
it be
Post-it
coming
note?
from me.
Who does have the
Post-it
post-it note?
note?
Is that
Who-
you,
yeah,
Ben?
the Post-it note. Who's in possession?
I
of
think
that?
I threw that away if I'm being honest.
Dang.
No.
Well, we
that's
still
okay.
remember. I don't think Nick was actually on that post-it note. I think Nick was
No,
moved
it was,
out.
it was Eric, Mike, Ben, and Josh. Was
Listen,
the
all I cared about was the
circumferences
fun
of
dip.
our heads.
I
that
cared
also
about the
got
fun
thrown
dip, and he
out.
threw it away.
Nick,
Cared
it
about
was
the
like
fun
4
dip.
years old.
It's
It-
candy.
Okay, it was a 4-year-old pack of fun dip that had been hanging on the wall for that long. I
Listen.
felt like it had had its time. I like.
That was
Dude.
a permanent. That was a permanent thing.
Do you wanna know,
I still have this though.
Nice. That's good. That's a solid picture right there. Solid picture.
Josh with the Bruins hat in the background. Me looking so
Nick
suave.
looking
Josh
lovingly at
posed
me.
that too. Josh just wasn't conveniently facing away. He deliberately turned
That
around.
was his plan.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Those were the
What
days.
fun times we had there. Yeah.
I do miss Wren Village sometimes. It was a good time for the most
I
part.
don't think it's named that anymore.
It's just called the Village now.
Ah,
And
now
they got
it's
like a
just
fancy ass sign now. Like
the
they're trying to
Village
be like-
boys. I drove by it today. I didn't.
thing.
I didn't see the Village. I didn't see the fancy sign. I was looking at Bazzano's Pizza.
They also changed the name of the laundromat too.
It's no longer
It's-
the Friends.
It's
no.
it's just I think it's like laundry time at the Village now or something like
Oh,
that.
dude. That's so much better.
They probably bought it.
They didn't own it before.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I actually thought they did. That would make sense.
That would.
Good for
All right.
what's her face?
Yeah.
Isabel.
She's
Love.
Isabel. Yeah, she's making moves.
Fucking making money.
She was
moves,
very nice to me.
goddamn.
She was very nice to all of us.
She was a really good landlord or landlady.
Yes. All right, we're gonna move on from reminiscing here, gentlemen. As much as I like doing it.
What are we moving on to?
I want to go division by division. I want to try something new, something that something that Spit and Chicklets has been implementing for a while, and I'd like to copy them.
That's true. We've kind of just been doing our own teams. We just put it.
Yeah,
in the
I mean
bigger
we can,
context
and I
of
would
the
like to
league.
talk about each of our teams as well inside of the division talk.
Sure.
But we're gonna start with the division that none of our teams is in, the West.
The West.
And you know what? It's
Scroll into
pretty.
the West.
It's pretty much what we thought,
Yeah.
except that the Blues
Yep.
are up top.
I
that's
expected
pretty much it.
expected Vegas, St. Louis, Colorado to be some combination of the top three.
Well, first of all, I expected Colorado to be ahead by a lot, except for maybe Vegas. But
They're also 3 games back right now.
That's
But
true.
they-
Of St. Louis. Vegas is doing. Oh yeah, actually no, you're right. Vegas is kind of killing it.
So, Mike, you lost McKinnon because he was hurt or because
was
they
hurt.
were postponed? Okay, I'm pretty
Both.
sure
A
they're
little bit of
without Landeskog again, too.
are they? Dang.
Which
Well-
I don't know. It's still hella early. Like I'm not really worried about Colorado. Like
Yeah,
they're-
no,
they're-
I think they'll be fine. And it actually, the interesting part about this division is below that third spot, which
Yeah.
we knew that's how it
Yeah.
was going to be. Like Anaheim is in that fourth spot right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be that
That's
fourth
so
spot is
weird.
gonna be whoever the hell wants it. Like
it's going to be
like-
whoever catches fire.
Yeah.
Yep.
The one team I'm sneakily like thinking might be decent is
Minnesota.
Arizona. No, Arizona.
Oh.
Because they just went 1-1-1 in the last 3 games against St. Louis.
Mhm.
Which 1-1-1, whatever. It's not amazing, but like still they and like all the games are fairly close.
So they got
So like
3
against
out
St.
of
Louis, against one of
6
the better
points.
teams, they got 3 out of 6 points against St. Louis, one of the better teams in the division.
and only gave them 3 out of 6.
Yeah. So like,
So-
I
That's
think
not
they
bad.
could be okay.
Yeah, I agree. Darcy's playing pretty good right now, too. Like, he's taking
That's
40
the other
shots a
thing.
game.
He's
playing-
pretty
He's
nutty.
playing godlike again.
Yeah. So if there's a team that I could believe in out of that bottom, it wouldn't shock me if Arizona was in there. But mentioning Minnesota, they still have 3 games in hand against Arizona and are only 2 points back of them. So yeah, and Kirill Kaprizov has been fun. He has been as advertised
he's
since
big-
coming
he's
over
the
from the
big reason, I
KHL.
think.
He's been a fun time. So like I think that is like those top 3 are probably going to be locked in for most of the season. And
Yeah.
at the end,
I would
it's going to be a really fun race to see who that last spot is going to be.
Who can
'cause
steal that last spot?
Yep.
even San Jose, the last place team,
San Jose. San Jose.
is only 4 points back of the team that's in that spot right now,
Yeah,
and
it's-
has
Yep.
2 games in hand.
It's not even that
So
far. Yeah.
like,
they still
it's
have a
gonna
chance,
be
dude. It's weird.
anybody. Even like
Come on,
LA could
Carlson.
do something if they figure their shit out. Like
Yeah, they're my dark horse team. I just for
San
the hell of
Jose?
it. No. LA. They're rival.
Absolutely
it could
not.
be anything for real. Like that's gonna be a
It
fun.
could be any of
it's
them,
gonna
yeah.
be a fun playoff race to watch towards the end. I think.
Yep. I guess technically, if you want to get real technical, it could be anybody in any of these divisions still.
Well,
Um,
yes, but like going off of trends of what we've seen so far.
Yes. The Central. Let's spend some time in the Central Division.
Okay,
Shall
can I
we?
just?
I
can
wonder why
start
Mike
off-
wants to spend some time
Yeah,
in the Central.
we're gonna
Division.
spend.
Can I-
we're gonna spend a
Can
lot of time here,
can
boys.
Can I start off by saying I was just looking at the standings a few days ago, and when I saw where Florida was, I was like, "Wait a minute, have I not been watching hockey at all this
Florida's
year?"
been
Like,
doing some stuff.
yeah.
Well, that's just
they
kind
are-
of that's a sort of product of the whole only intra division play, but I'll get to that too.
I don't know.
So that's my question, though. Yeah, what?
No,
what
no,
the
I'm
heck?
saying,
what's
like,
going on?
Like
Oh, that he didn't
fact,
know.
the fact of like not noticing certain things
Okay.
that
Oh,
are going
yeah,
on
true,
right now.
true.
I thought
Because
you meant
outside of the Canadian division, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't been paying that much attention.
I thought you meant like the play, and I was like,
Oh no. All the divisions actually seemed like they have a fairly decent like. All right, there's a bunch of shitty ones and then a couple good ones. Like there seems to be. I would say the Canadian one's probably a little weaker, but anyway.
I'm a little
The
surprised
Central
how the standings are right now, to be honest.
the Central
Let me
ones, Nick.
Yeah.
It's a little.
like sure. We knew the Lightning were. God damn it!
No, you're good. You're still going.
Oh, I keep glitching on my screen. I'm
I
not
was like,
figuring
what
out why.
happened?
It just keeps freezing.
I see you
Okay,
still,
but
buddy.
yeah, you're still here. You're good.
Okay,
Keep going.
okay. So
Restart your computer.
yes, we knew the Lightning were going to be good. I didn't think we all really anticipated Florida being as good as they are right now. But like Dallas, what's Dallas doing?
They are.
Dallas is not playing great
they're
hockey right now.
fairly average Joe at this point.
5-3-4.
Yeah, that's
And
They started
pretty
hot.
pedestrian.
yeah, Kudobin started the first 3 games good, and I think he's dropped his last 3 of 4 or something like that.
Yeah, Osterley's gotten into
So-
some games. That's his name, right?
I don't know.
Osterley's the-
Edinger, Jake Edinger, I think.
Yeah.
Edinger. Osterley's a completely different OE name. Never mind.
Yes.
That's a different player.
Well, because Khudobin, he was late to practice and he got benched
Oh
for
damn!
being late to practice for one or was it was practice or like a film session or something, which seems
I think
kind
it
of
was
dumb to have a
practice.
goalie to punish a goalie for being late to a film session because like how different is their play gonna be? They sit in net and they block shots.
I'm pretty sure it was practice.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
The one that surprises me in the Central right now so far is Chicago because they
Yes.
started ass.
They started really bad.
Started very poorly and have stormed back to being tied for a playoff spot. I don't know what tiebreaker Columbus has on them that has them in 4th, but they're at 18 with literally identical records. 18 points with identical records. So
I think
Chicago's right there.
I think the tiebreaker is whatever the row is. And the row... Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. Maybe the tiebreaker might be... Wait, no, because there's...
I honestly
What
don't
the
know why
frig is the
Columbus actually
tiebreaker?
ahead
Whatever.
because they have the anyway whatever.
The only
They're right
difference
there.
is...
Chicago's
they are
right there.
they're
Is the
right
main
there, yeah.
point.
ahead of
Because like
Dallas.
Carolina also has only 18 points. Florida only has 18 points. They do have 4 games in hand each of them, but still, Chicago is doing far better than anyone like gave them any chance of doing so far. And this is still with the chance of maybe a John Tavares comes back towards the end of the season or something like that.
You just said John
Tavares.
Taves.
Taves.
Jonathan Davis.
Okay.
Taves.
Okay, Taves,
Not
yeah,
Tavares.
okay. You said John Tavares, and I was like,
It clicked in my head right before you said that, actually.
blockbuster trade?
Yeah. Tavares to the
For some
Blackhawks
reason.
confirmed. Taves is what I meant. But yeah, no, Chicago's probably my surprise one. It's nice to see Laine though doing decent with Columbus so far, other than that one benching. But like, still, I think he's got 4 goals since going there.
3 goals in 4 games, I believe.
3 goals.
Yeah, but it wasn't his benching. Like he got in an argument with one of the coaches.
Apparently,
like,
he yelled at an
He,
assistant coach or
he
something.
mouthed
should
off.
be benched if he does that. Like Jesus Christ, dude,
Well,
you're a professional.
Yeah.
You don't have to mouth off to your fucking coaches, you dumbass.
yeah, and
And
he just
to be
got
fair,
there. He just got
in
there.
like, to be fair, in the interviews, like he was like, "Yep, I shouldn't have done that. Like, we're gonna move on from this, but like, it's good to know there's accountability on this team," which could admittedly just be him doing. the
Yeah,
thing
it's
for the
good to know
interview,
he'll
but-
apologize when the cameras are on. Like, what is
Yeah. Yeah, but like, hey, I mean, for Columbus, they need to make it work however they can.
They need to make
because
that work.
They absolutely do because they need goals, and if there's a thing he's very good at doing, it is scoring those goals.
He is good
so
at goal.
like, and they cannot lose another major free agent.
Yeah,
they
they've
can't,
lost
like,
quite
they
a
can't.
few.
They can't do it again. So they got to make that situation work, and he's at least scoring to start with them, so that's good. And then Jack Roslovic, I think, has more goals than him since getting there. Right
Not
now.
more goals. He's got 7 points in 7 games. I think he's got
Okay.
two
But
goals, 5
he's
assists, something
also
like that.
been crazy good.
He has.
Columbus looking pretty good after that trade.
Yep. And Dubois, I don't think has done anything.
I think he's only maybe gotten into 2 games after that Ottawa one.
Yeah.
I think he had played
He's
one
been in
before
2
that.
games
And no,
and
I don't
hasn't,
think he's done anything since
hasn't
getting
gotten
there.
And he hasn't been on the score sheet yet. Maybe.
But he also wasn't playing hockey for 2 weeks.
True.
And then like had to just kind of jump back. Like it might take a sec. I'm not ready to say anything on that trade yet, really, but like definitely leaning towards Columbus.
Yeah.
As long as they can keep him.
That's gonna be that. That'll be the big thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, that'll be the deciding factor there.
I would like to talk about my Lightning for a moment. They are top of the division.
They are
Do we have to?
Freaking right.
The
bud.
Lightning are good. They're scoring.
still
a
good.
bunch.
They're still good. 10 wins. They are one of 3 teams in the double-digit win column, and they have the least games played of any of them. So, boom!
They have 13, right?
13 games played. Boston has 10 wins, 14 games played, and Toronto has 11 wins, 15 games played.
Vegas also has 10 wins, but
And
they have
that
13.
just happened, and I haven't refreshed my page.
Oh, whoops.
But yeah, so they have 10 wins in the same number of games. So actually, they have an identical setup to the Lightning. They have an identical record to the Lightning right now, 10-2-1.
Which kind of makes sense because that was a potential Stanley Cup matchup last season.
It
I think
was.
we very much expected 3 of those teams going into this season. Can anybody say that they would have expected the Bruins to have 10 wins at this point? Because I can't.
I don't think I
I'm
would
not-
have. I wouldn't have counted them. I don't count them out, but I wouldn't have thought they'd be like that.
didn't
I
think
thought
they'd
they
be
were
like
gonna
this
have a
division, that's
weaker.
for
I thought they were gonna have a weaker season than they are right now. But like, I'm also not shocked.
To be honest,
yeah, because they
Pasternak
got Marchand
came
and
back, he's
Pasternak back pretty
that
quick.
was the thing. I
Like-
didn't think they were gonna get him back that quick.
Yeah, they got him back pretty quick, and then they just kind of kept doing Bruins things. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, yeah,
It's like they got Pasternak back and he just went off.
Oh yeah, he
Just
had the
went off.
hat trick against Philly. But yeah, so anyway,
talking about the East now. Is that what's happening?
no, let me go back
No,
real quick to the
Mike's
Central.
talking about.
Well, I
Still
just want to talk about the Lightning Panthers game, the first one,
Talk about
the first
Lightning
one.
all you like, bud.
So, they played the Panthers, and let me tell you, the Panthers are real.
Yeah.
Like this thing that they're
Didn't
doing.
they just get their shit kicked in the next game or last game though? By the
Yes,
Lightning?
but that's because the Lightning went back to being the Lightning. The Lightning didn't play great in the first game, but they still what Florida did. I don't think
was the
this. I don't. It was the ending score was 5-2, so it was
5-2 Florida.
yeah, I believe.
Huh.
But
I mean,
I
that's
don't
a
think
decent game then.
I don't think this record is a fluke. I think they could be a real team, and one of the reasons, no, it's not Bobrovsky, but
I'm shocked.
one of their best players has been a recently acquired young gun by the name of Carter Verhaeghe,
X-Light.
recent Stanley Cup champion with the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yep.
Oh, he's been doing things.
They put him on the top line with Barkov. In my days, he's gonna be
I mean,
he's
playing
gonna
with
be a star.
Mark Barkov is a nice
yes,
time.
but he's doing the work. He's doing all the sweet
really?
moves and all because he's a speedy little bastard.
Oh, really?
And
Well, good
and
for
yeah,
him.
he's looking real good. I'm happy for him, but man, he better not.
And
storm
it has
Lightning
the.
and fight him.
I know you mentioned that there was a lot of animosity in a couple of games before with the Panthers. I think last episode has that continued.
there was some more animosity, but the last episode
Oh, that was
was
Nashville. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're right.
I
yeah.
think that's gonna happen. I think all of these teams are gonna just end up being rivals with each other, like going.
Yeah,
forward.
I'm gonna talk about that once we get to Canadian. But yeah,
But that was basically it. I just wanted to say I think Florida's for real, and I'm gonna. I can't.
what about your
change my-
boys though? What about the Lightning? What do you
Dude,
think about their
it's
last
the
week?
Lightning, man. They just they kind of shat the bed a little bit in that first Florida game. And
Which,
then
I mean, it'll happen. They're
it
still
happens.
10-2
They were
and 1.
missing Stamkos. And then this last game actually they were missing Stamkos, Cirelli, and another center, but I can't remember which one. Maybe it wasn't a center, but they were missing some people, and then obviously they still don't have Cooch, but that's all season.
I think the only thing that's really going to change with how the Central's division right now is because it's Tampa, Florida, Carolina. I think Dallas will get in there. I think Dallas will probably be the 4.
I think that 4th spot is going to be.
I think you'll see them play different once Bishop comes back, and I think he's supposed to be back in March. So
ooh,
Benny B,
big Benny Bish. But anyway, in that
because Khudobin's clearly not been playing Khudobin of last year.
Yeah, that is.
Or I don't think anybody could really expect him to because he was kind of playing.
Kind of went off, yeah. Goalie can't be that on all the time.
Right, Ben?
Yeah.
All right, real quick. In that last Tampa game, Jamel Smith came up because we were missing so many people, and he got 2 assists, and he looked really good, and that was cool.
It's a good start.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So, now let's move on to the East.
Nobody cares.
Eric. Let's start with you. We do care about you. He was yelling at me. He doesn't care about me.
No, so back to the whole Boston thing. Yeah, I did not expect Boston to be where they are. They've just kind of sneakily. I know, like you said, Ben. Like it's the Bruins. They do Bruin things. Yes, that's to be expected. But because like you were saying, Nick Pasternak went off, came back.
Marchand did the same thing.
Yep. But this is the perfect segue. So the Bruins are playing pretty well, and my team, the Islanders, the only team to give them both of their 2 regulation losses. The Bruins have only lost twice in regulation, both times against the Islanders. The first one was kind of fluky. Well, not fluky, but it was a 0-0 game. And I think was it Pagot scored off of a tip in like the last minute or something like that, which, okay, I'll take it. But the game last night was a 4-2 win, and was a pretty solid win.
Nice.
You don't know how happy I am to not have to face Jean-Gabriel Pageau for an entire season.
Still had him.
That man does nothing but score on the Montreal Canadiens.
And the New York
Rangers.
Rangers.
Scoring? Has he been scoring for your Islanders there?
Yeah, he's been one of the only. Believe it or not, so this is kind of funny. So he's been scoring. The Islanders put Leo Komarov on waivers.
Mm-hmm.
And the game he played last night, I think he got a goal and an assist against the Bruins. Like, it's just like the minute they put him on waivers, and he's like, "Oh, I guess I'll just produce now," which is kind of interesting. I don't know what happened with that, or if anyone picked him up, or what the whole deal is. I have to.
Eric, if JGP had to go anywhere, I'm glad he went there instead of to Montreal or Tampa.
That's
fuck you guys.
Dude, we don't need your sloppy seconds down here.
I think Tampa's all right in terms of offensive firepower. I think they're doing okay.
I would have very much, instead of, like I said to Ben, because his comment when I sent you guys the Dzingel trade was, I don't think bringing him back out of all those trades was the one that they needed. I'm thinking to myself,
of all the 2017 team,
I would very much prefer getting JGP back, but whatever.
I don't think he was coming back.
You can't have.
I'd love to see him go back. I don't think he ever will, though.
Can't have all things in life.
No.
Or if you're a Senator fan, you can't have anything.
But what has the last week of games for the Islanders been like?
Yeah, so they split 2 with Pittsburgh. They won the first game in regulation, which was pretty awesome because they were down 3-2, and that's. Wait, was that? Yeah, I think that's what snapped their skid kind of going on. I'm pretty sure that was the game that they snapped their skid with. And then they lost the second matchup with Pittsburgh. I don't know if we're going to talk about him tonight, but good old Gino, Evgeny Malkin, tied the game up with like 20 seconds left. And then the Penguins won it in a shootout with that. You guys have probably seen it, that Crosby goal, that incredible shootout goal.
I actually haven't.
I haven't either.
I haven't seen a Crosby
I'll
highlight.
have to check that out.
Watch it. Varlamov just fell backwards on his ass. It was a nice move.
My goalie?
Crosby makes people look silly like normal.
Yep, like normal. And then the most recent game against the Bruins, they won that 4-2. My big question, not really question mark, but just something that I want to see. I just want to see what develops with this whole situation. So the Islanders are kind of back on track. They're 6-4, which is which you kind of want to just be hovering there, right? If you want to heat up, you want to heat up late in the season, especially
Could be
with
better, but they're
could
better
be better.
better than they were at the start. Anyway.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But you don't want to lose track of Boston,
No. The other thing though, Ilya Sorokin, their KHL goalie that is finally getting NHL starts, has not won a game yet. And granted, most of his starts were when the Islanders were going through that little skid. But I just want to see the kid get a win, like that's huge, right? Just like getting that monkey off your back. It's like if you're a forward, right, who hasn't scored a goal in a while, when you finally score, it's like,
It would help the Islanders if they had a Sorokin who was feeling confident.
Yes, because Varlamov has been playing unbelievable. Like he's won them some games. But if you can't, he can't do that. I know it's a shortened season, but
there's going to be so many back-to-backs.
Yeah.
There's going to be so many areas where you need your backup.
Definitely need a good backup
to be good. So and that's all I have to say about the Isles. But other than that, they're back on the upswing. I'm happy about that. Let's see how the whole Sorokin thing.
How's Cal Clutterbuck been playing?
Like Cal Clutterbuck.
He got a goal the other day.
Banging bodies. Yep, scoring the occasional goal.
He got a game winner, I think.
Playing those hard third line minutes.
Yeah. Oh, wait, the Islanders they beat the Rangers too. That was the other matchup, and they did that with their fourth line, which was pretty funny.
That's one team that I'm surprised about. I didn't think they'd be as bad as they are.
They're
not.
Yeah,
they're not doing so hot.
Something that hasn't helped is I think Lafreniere's only point is one overtime goal that he has, and that's it.
I feel like they have more than.
See, I feel like this, so you guys know, obviously Tampa did it right. They had their kids.
Goddamn right.
Kids in their farm system. They didn't just draft them and throw them to the wolves. Not every player is built to play.
I think
that's true.
Again, in the big leagues yet. I feel like the Senators, if they were a better team, you could have had Stützle, Tkachuk, Shabbat down in AAA in Belleville for a little bit, but instead all these guys are just thrown in.
Yeah.
And they're figure it out.
I mean, there's definitely a level of that in Ottawa. Sure, I don't know that everything that Stützle and Tkachuk and all of them are being asked to do is quite fair. I think Shabbat's there. That's fine. But I usually the guys that are in the top 2, 3, whatever. Yeah, it's usually expected they're going to be guys the next year with the NHL team. That's not that odd.
With the Lightning, the only two that have been thrown in are the 1 and 2, Stammer and Hedman. Were the only two that were thrown in the next year.
And Hedman, I feel like it took him a bit, right?
Hedman, I don't think. I'm pretty sure the coach at the time, I forget the name. If somebody said it, I would probably know.
That was him for a while.
Well, Boucher was a good one. Milbury, did he coach? Why does that rings a bell?
I don't remember who coached.
It was whoever was coaching when Hedman came in was an absolute dick to him, and I don't think that
after Tortorella.
It wasn't Tortorella at that point.
No, who was after him?
I'm thinking it's Mike Milbury, but regardless, it was. Pretty sure he was bad to Hedman, he was like a dick to Hedman, and then that kind of. I think it slowed down Hedman's, ability. And plus, Hedman was an 18-year-old kid, so it's
Yeah, and I guess to my point is, Lafreniere, Ranger fans put all these expectations on this kid who is a first-year player, who is what, 19, 18?
Yep, 19.
Is he 19?
Are you serious? And they're playing against. You're playing against Pasternak and Marchand and Bergeron, these legitimately seasoned veterans who have been in the league for more years than this kid has ever been breathing.
Ovechkin, Crosby.
And what?
I said Ovechkin, Crosby, probably the two best of last generation.
Yeah. So, I think he's got a lot of expectations on him that he's not going to be able to live up to because that team isn't. They're young, they're good, but they will be very good, I think. But
I figured they were going to be better. I really did.
I thought they were going to be better than I didn't.
Like it's
I
not
was
just
saying this
Lafreniere
last
there.
episode, like my call for Ottawa making the playoffs was a little bit like me just being like, yeah, what the fuck, yeah, why not? Just because it'd be fun. But I didn't think they were gonna be this bad. Like I thought they had more in them than this. And admittedly, they played the Habs very well both games, and they've played the Leafs pretty well 2 games. But like,
What? So their goalie Shesterkin? Is that who that is? Who it is?
Shesterkin
Yeah,
and
he's-
Georgiev. They
yeah.
split the season between those two guys.
You have brand new goalies too, because Lunk was their guy.
Yep.
Forever.
Georgiev had started to start more, I think.
Yes.
Towards the end.
Shesterkin hasn't been too great from what I believe. You know what? All right, here's the thing about the Rangers, though. It's such a short season, right? Remember last season when the Rangers they were heating up, and then COVID happened, and then they got
actually
decimated by the Canes. Yeah, so
we're on the up right before the season paused. Like they were in the mix.
yeah.
Then,
So if they can heat up again at the right time, because they do have skill, like we've established, right? They are young, but they are not bad, even though their record is not the best right now. If they can heat up at the right time, they could. I definitely think they can like do some damage, or at least make the playoffs, grab that 4th spot, right? In these divisions, the 4th spot is
like. Yes, it's a short season, and what we're most of the league is what 15 to 18 or 15 to 17 games in. Is that roughly where we are?
That's the high end, I'd say.
We're a good
higher
chunk
end.
we're a
lot
good
of teams
through the
postponements
But
that are still around
You
now.
can't wait too long. Like typically when a lot of these teams are heating up, it's like games 40 and 50.
Yeah.
And that's the end of this season. So
Yeah.
like
Work's been
You know what I
done
mean?
at that point.
Yeah, it's actually gonna be interesting. Who like I think a lot of it's gonna be whoever's got like the strongest last like 15 games is gonna have a really good chance of going far this year.
could just grab a 4th spot. Anyone who does that can just grab a 4th spot, depending on your division.
And then if you do that, we'll have a decent chance of going far, because if you're just feeling it and like I've been playing hella good like the last stretch of like 10, 15, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But I don't know. Also, I'm an Islander fan, so I never count the Rangers out because I'm just the rivalry. But
All right, Benny and Nick, your division has arrived.
Moving on to the Scotia North, or the Canadian division as everybody's calling it. But
Scotiabank North.
Nick, let's go with Ottawa first, because
I'm not surprised with where they are. They have had we've talked about this already a few times. Murray is just not showing up. I don't think that this is going to be like consistent for him. I think he will at some point. It's a brand new team, it's a brand new system, and he's got to get used to playing with guys who are not named Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin. He's
Or
had
Crystal
them
Tang.
his whole career up into this year. So he had superstar forwards who could bail him out of a game whenever he wanted. So now he's got to figure out how to be a legitimate like wall in the net.
to be fair, he's being asked a lot.
That's the
Yes.
only way that they'll.
And
look
Eric,
at
I
it.
want to say something to you. Like it's kind of the same thing for the Senators. They're really splitting time weirdly with their goalies because they'll just randomly bench Murray.
Yep.
So Hogberg getting a win last night is kind of like you said, the monkey off your back type thing that he needed. I think.
yes.
Yes, he's not. Neither of those goalies are playing good, but their defense is playing even worse. So.
Yeah. No, that must feel good. That must feel good.
3-2-12 3-12-1. What? 3-2-12. 3-12-1 is the current Senators record in 16 games.
In a lot of those games, a lot of them aren't close wins either, or close losses. A lot of them are big blowout losses. 6-3, that one game against the Oilers that just blew them out of the water. They aren't losing close games. They're winning close games, but they're losing blowouts.
They currently have a -30 goal differential.
Yeah, exactly.
The one thing I noticed with Ottawa is because I pop in a lot to the Ottawa game if it's still going after a Lightning game, or if I am just watching games one night. Whenever I go on and it's like the end of it's like the midway through the third, they have like 35 shots. They have so many shots. I'm like, Jesus.
You
But
just look
they
at
must
the-
just
look
be
at the players,
flinging them
they're not
on.
that high- yeah, they're not that high quality.
Yeah, because I haven't really seen them have a big, like 5-goal night. Like I'm sure they did, and I'm just not remembering. But like, you know, the one that's sticking out to me is the Edmonton game that they just blew them out on.
Was that the 8-5 one?
Yeah.
That
So
wasn't
they
too
did
really a
score lot.
blowout.
They scored a lot of goals in that game.
Yeah,
But like,
they let in a lot too.
Yeah.
You were semi-happy for that one because Draisaitl got you a shite ton
Mucho
of freaking points.
a ton.
6 assists in that one.
Honestly, I was straight up rooting against the Senators that game because I wanted to see Draisaitl go for 10 points. I wanted to see it.
You wanted to see it was Gretzky's assist record was 8, I think. Was it 8 assists, I think? And so he could have gotten it,
But the most goals the Sens have had in a win is 5, and it was in their first game against Toronto. Other than that, it was 3.
And last night was 2.
Yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah, and that's
One
the 3.
thing about the Canadian division, and I'll shut up after this. I'm not two things.
Keep talking about it.
I'm not overly surprised that Toronto's playing as good as they are.
No, me neither.
And the one thing that I'm really surprised about is Calgary. I thought Calgary was going to be a lot better than what they are.
Same.
I think they will be. I don't understand what's going on because it's not like Markstrom. Markstrom, we knew what he was, and he's playing like that. But I don't understand like what the deal is. I think their offense is what's killing them right now. I have 2 Calgary guys on my fantasy team. I have Johnny Hockey and Lindholm. And Gaudreau is getting some stuff, but Lindholm isn't really doing a whole lot, and those are 2 of their most heavily relied on forwards, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have Matthew Tkachuk, and he has not done much.
So it's offense is the issue then.
The thing is, they've been like
Supposedly.
the West Coast version of the Leafs the last few years in terms of consistently underperforming once the playoffs are out. Like they've lost so many first round series the last few years. I don't know. I no, but the same. I thought they were going to be better than they have been so far. Markstrom hasn't been the problem, like you said, though. So they probably.
I am absolutely not counting them out. I think they'll turn it around at some point. I think a lot of offenses are probably kind of flat right now. It's a weird February. Like, isn't typically February the point of the season, point of regular seasons anyway, where teams tend to skid a little bit?
It's normally where the season kind of starts to, like, January into February is where it starts to kind of feel like, okay, what are we doing here? Yeah, and then by end of February, trade deadline hits, and then like mid-March into April is like the playoff push is where it kind of picks up. But yeah, February is usually a bit of a downish time.
We'll see.
But
give them a month. We'll probably be having a completely different discussion about it.
No, probably.
I think, like most of the divisions, I mean, if it's not even just going to be the 4th spot, I think 3rd and 4th is going to be pretty up in the air in terms of Canadian.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Real quick before we get to your
right now, it's Toronto, Montreal,
Edmonton, Winnipeg. But Edmonton has 1 more point than Winnipeg with 2 more games played. So Winnipeg's been strong. Like, it wouldn't shock me if Winnipeg.
And that was without Laine and Dubois for a couple weeks, I guess.
At least like a few games. Like,
couple
weeks.
It was, yeah.
Clutterbuck's been playing top tier status like normal Clutterbuck. So
Clutterbuck?
Hellebuck?
Or not Clutterbuck.
Oh, Hellebuck. Okay.
Hellebuck.
I was like, he's been okay. I wouldn't say top tier.
Sorry, I misspoke. Just like Ben did earlier.
Yeah, what's up with you guys?
We're doing great with player names tonight.
What's up with you guys mixing up names? Real quick, Benny.
At least I got John T correct.
True. Nick got the buck correct. Real quick before we get to your Habs, I did want to throw in Vancouver in 6th with the most games played in the league with 18.
Yeah,
So
That's
pretty rough.
I mean, they got that big win against Calgary
They did.
last night, which was they needed something to stop the bleeding. But
It's a rough record.
They've gotten 14 of a possible 36 points.
Holtby has not been good.
I mean, no, but like neither.
Nobody's been good.
It's non-existent.
Neither
Nobody's
is
been
Demko
good there.
because like if you like I watch just from the Habs games I watched, like the amount of just breakaways, 3-on-2s, just all of the high danger scoring chances they're giving up on just giveaways. Like the amount of goals the Habs scored on them just because a Canucks player passed it to a Hab and then they just got a look alone. Like they just haven't been good. But from what I saw and what I read about last night, they had a decent game against Calgary. Hope maybe they'll turn it around, but like it's not good. They have a .389 point percentage. It's not good.
Pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
All right.
But
Now we're on to the Ben Watson heavy segment of the show where he goes off about the Montreal
because
Canadiens.
this is the only segment where Ben goes heavy.
I just talk a lot all over.
All right, let's talk about the toilet seats.
What do you want to know about him?
Their past
Well,
week.
what'd you say?
Their past week. How's it
Tyler
been?
Yeah,
Toffoli.
let's hear that the past week.
The past week was worrying at first and still is kind of.
Okay.
Because like the before last episode, they lost a game against the Sens and then barely got a game against the Sens, that 2-1 game, which and then after that proceeded to lose against the Leafs on what day was that? Wednesday? Yeah, it was Wednesday. Lost against the Leafs on Wednesday in a game where they could have had it. It was 40 seconds in the third period where they gave up 2 goals that lost them the game. And then they got it back within 1 near the end and then just played absolutely no defense. And Toronto got the easiest empty netter goal I've seen. And that happened. So that was that game. And then just didn't show up the next night against Edmonton. Like I didn't even watch the third period because they were down 2-0 already. And it was already just, they just weren't there. And that was so both games in reverse retro jersey so far, they have been terrible because the first one was the game they lost against Ottawa and the second one was the game they lost against Edmonton.
The reverse retro curse.
So that was all of that leading up to that was not awesome. But then last night against Toronto, they did not start strong at all. Like the first period, Carey Price for the first time this season looked like Carey Price, which was very encouraging. That's part of why I feel so good coming out of tonight, or last night rather, was that Carey kept them in it after the first. Like they let in a goal within the first 5 minutes, I think, and then Carey just was lights out the rest of the first period. And then it was kind of mid-period second that it kind of started to shift towards the Habs. They didn't get a goal in the second. It was still 1-0 going into the third, but then third period was basically all Habs. Toffoli tied it off of a great passing play from then Gallagher to Danault to Toffoli, just 1T, beautiful. And then Gallagher just being Gallagher in front of the net. He's battling with Brody, I think it was. It gets just wafted in by Petrie. Gallagher gets it down. It was thought might have been high stick, but it actually hit his glove and he brought it down. It would have been iffy either way, but still his glove came down and then he just shoots it in real quick past Freddie. And they got a win because that was the goal with 3 minutes left. And the whole period had just been all Habs. So it felt pretty safe-ish towards the end, but I was still really worried towards the end that the Leafs were going to get it back. They were playing with at least 4 forwards on with the extra attacker. I think it might have been 5 forwards. They were trying something crazy based on what the announcers were saying. But Habs got the win. And it was huge that they got that because otherwise it would have been 3 in a row and 4 in 5 that they lost and had looked terrible the last 4 games before. Even though they got that win against Ottawa, they did not look good in that win against Ottawa. So if they had gone into their bye week, which they just did right now, they're not playing again until next Saturday. They play the Leafs again. So they have no games at all this week. If they had gotten a loss there, while also they scratched Thomas Tatar before this past game against the Leafs.
I saw he wasn't good.
Healthy scratch.
4 goals, 4 assists this season or something like that.
Yeah. Honestly, if Danault wasn't a center, it would have been Danault. The thing is, they need him there. And otherwise, in terms of forwards, the one that was underperforming was arguably Tatar. I mean, I could have seen an argument for Kotkaniemi too, but believe me, I was also quite surprised by the Tatar scratching. Shocked me. But then they get the win, and that's a very good thing for Claude Julien, because if there's a kitty. But if they had if they had not gotten the win before the bye week, Claude Julien scratched Thomas Tatar, I would have been so annoyed, because all that would have been happening on Habs Twitter would have just been like, all right, fire Julien, fire whatever. Like, it would have just been chaos. So like, I'm very happy that this win happened before the bye week and kind of calmed all that down. And I honestly, like I said before, the most encouraging thing to me was the play of Carey that game, because it was the first time really all season that he looked like Carey. Like, because he had looked pretty weak. I'm not going to lie. He's looked weak this season. It hasn't been great. It hasn't been great. Like, he had a slow start. Granted, though, he pretty much universally always has slow starts, which is why I wasn't ever really getting all that worried about it. But last night was definitely a nice sign. And that is where I will shut up about the Canadians.
Good. So the Canadians are 9-4-2, 20 points, and second in the division. Same amount of games played as Toronto. So
3 points behind, the same amount of games played.
3 points behind. 3 points behind.
They were 24th in the league last year. I'll take it.
Yeah.
You will take it.
Yeah, I'd be pretty happy if I was a Canadiens fan right now too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be happy that you're scratching Thomas Tatar, but to your point, if I'm going into a bye week, you'll probably figure that stuff out.
Yeah,
they'll figure it out.
They definitely were off their game in terms of their team. Like, so much of their offense is driven just about like by all of everybody being on the same page. Like, in terms of every line doesn't have a superstar, so you all have to be playing the same. Of every time we get a chance, you got to take it. Kind of like, that's so much of what their play is driven by. Their offense is driven by is just taking advantage of opponents' mistakes.
So what's their lines? Is it Danault, Gallagher, Toffoli on one?
Did they move Toffoli up to the first line?
They did. They moved Toffoli up to be with Gallagher and Danault.
So they got Suzuki playing with Drouin.
I would arguably say that their first line is now Suzuki, Drouin, Anderson. They didn't score last night, but they definitely had the most of the chances in that game.
So essentially, Tatar and Kotkaniemi are playing third line?
Tatar had been with Danault and Gallagher most of the season. It just happened in that last loss against Toronto that Tatar came off that line. That was the first time that changed.
So which I think maybe, like, I mean, the way Toffoli's been playing, he should be on a better line, in my opinion.
And he looked good last night.
Even Tatar having 4 goals, 4 assists at this point in the season, he's not playing bad.
It's not terrible. Believe me, all of Habs Twitter was kind of just like, what? When Tatar was scratched last night, we were just kind of like, okay, this game better go well. Like, it was weird. Believe me, like, I don't have all the answers on that one either. It just happened to work in that one game.
Yeah, but definitely, like I said, the bye week will help them figure out their issues.
They need to take some time in practice. I read they have 4 practices scheduled for this week before they get back to work on Saturday. So hopefully they'll figure
couple
this
off
out.
Days. All right, let's wrap this baby up so Nick can go to sleep.
We're only 10 minutes past where you wanted to
10
be.
minute past the hour. Wanted to keep it
Not
under
bad.
an hour, but that's not bad. Yeah, I'll take it. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And we'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you in the next one. And watch out for our TikTok account.
TikTok.